Hello, welcome to the demonstration of how to make database connections in ArcGIS Insights Enterprise version. As you may know, there are three flavors of Insights: one in ArcGIS Online, one in ArcGIS Enterprise, and Insights Desktop. Among them, creating database connections is available with the Enterprise and the Desktop versions. Insights Desktop out-of-box requires no additional setup for making database connections. However, the Enterprise version does require some work to configure it with ArcGIS Enterprise. And often you may think you're ready and try to make a database connection, but get an error such as a valid host, data connection issues, or something went wrong. And it's not always easy to pinpoint what exactly went wrong when you try to make a database connection. In this demo, I'm going to show you what's involved in making a successful database connection in ArcGIS Insights Enterprise version. Generally, there are 5 steps. Verify all the requirements are met. Register the relational data store type with ArcGIS Enterprise, which could be Oracle, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, and/or SAP HANA. Confirm the database server allows connections from the hosting server. Then prepare the database user used in the connection. Lastly, fill out the parameters correctly when you create the database connection. We'll start with this landing page of Insights. I have installed Insights and launched it as a named user who is licensed to use Insights. I can click on Connections, New Connection, Database, and you can see I have already configured Oracle and PostgreSQL with my Insights. In this demo, I'm going to use SQL Server as an example to show you each of the steps. So again, the first step is to verify all the requirements. You have to make sure your ArcGIS Insights is compatible with the version of your ArcGIS Enterprise. You have to use a supported browser, and you have to check all the other system requirements as well. If you run an unsupported setup, you're always at a risk that at a later time you may run into some unexpected issues. You should also verify your targeting database and targeting data types are supported in Insights. And if that data type, such as ST geometry in Oracle, may require some additional configuration. So I had verified all the system requirements before I registered Oracle and PostgreSQL with my Insights. I can move on to the next step, which is to register the SQL Server relational data store type with ArcGIS Enterprise. You can find all the details in Register Relational Data Store Types documentation. The first thing I need is a database client. It is a JDBC driver, and you can, for your targeting database, you can go to the vendor's website to download the JDBC driver. Then I logged into my hosting server's admin point, go to Uploads, Upload, Browse, and choose the compressed JDBC driver. Upload it, browse back to Home, Data, Relational Data Store Types, Register, choose SQL Server in my case, and choose the uploaded JDBC driver to register the item. For the registration to take effect, I also have to restart my ArcGIS server service. Be aware that JDBC driver is just leveraged by Insights. If you need your map services to reference data in your database, you still have to install the 64-bit database client on your hosting server at the machine level. So, okay, my ArcGIS server service has been restarted. Let's see what's the next step. It is to confirm the database server allows connections from the hosting server. Well, why hosting server? When Insights connects to your database, it's through the hosting server. That is why we upload the JDBC driver to your hosting server. My DBA, or database administrator, has provided me with the connection properties, including the database server IP For you, it could be the server name or a fully qualified domain name of the database server. The instance name is SQL Express. Database name, the username would be insights user with its password, and the instance is running on a static port 1433. So the first thing I want to do is from the hosting server, I want to see if I can reach that database server. I can use pin or telnet or NSLOOKUP to see if I can get any response or replies from my database server. And yes, I do. That's good. So next, I'm going to confirm if I can reach the port on the database server. For that, I'm using telnet. Again, I'm putting my IP address here, but for you, you may need to use a server name if that's what provided to you. Then with the port number. Now press enter. If it works, you will get this blank screen. And if it fails, it will error out, give you something like this. Could not open connection to the host on that port, connect failed. So it could be various reasons for this to fail. Some are, well, besides user mistake, it could be some database configuration issues or network configuration issues. Maybe your hosting server cannot resolve the name of your database server. Well, IP may work, or the Windows firewalls or any firewalls or antivirus could be blocking the traffic. Or if we are using SQL Server, perhaps the TCP/IP protocol is disabled on that instance. So if you find yourself cannot connect to the database server from the hosting server, you may need some help from your database admin or network admin to fix the problem. Once you have verified yes, you can connect to the database server from your hosting server on the port, if the port is required, then we can move on to the next step, which is to verify or prepare the database user to be used in the connection. So I just want to bring this to your attention. Currently, only database authentication is supported with Insights. If you use SQL Server and you have a domain user, you cannot use that user in connection in Insights. I was provided with a SQL Server user, Insights user, so I'm good with this. I may try to make a database connection now and get an error such as something went wrong. Then I ask my database admin to try her super user or admin credential in the same test, and it connects fine for her in Insights. So it must be something with this Insights user. So let's verify what are the privileges required for this connecting user. There are two types of data operations in Insights, one without data caching, one with data caching. With data caching, Insights must be able to create and manage temporary tables in the database, which means the connecting user needs privileges such as create table in that database. You can share this documentation with your DBA. It covers all the privileges required for each of the supported database types. Also, it has sample SQL to grant privileges to read-write users or read-only users. Once my DBA has granted the privileges, now finally, I can go to create the database connection in Insights. We're back in Insights. Click on New Connection, Database. You can see now I can choose the newly registered SQL Server. Give the connection a name and put the username for the database and its password. The server name, again, for me is IP address, but it could be a host name or fully qualified domain name for you. The database name and the instance name is SQL Express. So for SQL Server databases, they could be running on the default instance, which is MS SQL Server. In that case, you can leave the instance name blank. And for the port number, I can put 1433, or I can leave it blank. Notice both fields are optional. And if your SQL Server is configured with dynamic ports, which means the port number can change, then you have to leave the port number blank. Now I can click on Add, and hopefully there will be no error message. So after a few moments, finally, I have made a successful database connection in Insights. If you work with other database types, be aware which fields are mandatory, which are optional. Then you can apply the same 5 steps, and hopefully it will be a smooth sailing for you when you make a database connection in ArcGIS Insights Enterprise version. Thanks for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. If so, be sure to hit the like button or leave us comments for future video suggestions. To see more Esri Canada videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. Have a good day.